What's going on, everybody? I'm SystemTech66. Welcome to the channel. We've got some news regarding Resident Evil 8's performance on PS5, some other things from Screen Rant, and also, what's the other site that I'm on as well at the moment? Game Rant as well, so we'll get to that after this. So basically, Aesthetic Gamer has said that, or at least there's been talk that Resident Evil 8 is struggling on the PS5. Now, there is one thing that backs that up, and this should be taken with a grain of salt, just like Screen Rant says, you know, it's just hearsay at the moment. But there is something that backs that up. The first trailer that we got to see had some very serious frame rate issues. And I commented at the time when I was watching the trailer, and afterwards when I was covering, RE8 news. So I'm going to read directly from Screen Rant. Resident Evil 8's PS5 specific issues hinted at by a leaker. We're going to go all the way down to this bit. According to a trusted leaker, however, Resident Evil 8 PS5 may be experiencing issues during its development that are significantly hampering Capcom's efforts. In a tweet thread shared a few days ago, Aesthetic Gamer stated that Resident Evil 8's focus on faster loading, enabled at least in part due to next-gen console tech, has shifted enough focus around that it has begun causing issues for PS5. According to Aesthetic Gamer, Xbox Series X, Series S and PC are working fine, but the next-gen improvements have hurt Resident Evil 8 PS5 a fair bit. Enough that Capcom is considering going all in on the next-gen rather than making the game more widely accessible across platforms. So scaling things back, essentially, which isn't a good thing. So here's the tweet. Aesthetic Gamer, aka Dust Golem, also allowed them to do a lot more with shadows, graphical effects, higher character models, etc. But I've heard more recently they've been second guessing that a bit. They're debating that choice. And I know this won't make sense to everyone outside in, but the PS5 version is suffering. RE8 is actually having a lot of problems. The next gen improvements they're making work fine in the PC and Xbox X versions, but are really affecting the PS5 version. They're debating to step down on the effects and features, trying to figure out what's going on here. So Screen Rant say with leaks of this magnitude while leaks of this magnitude tend to be proven false quite quickly when they're not coming from more official sources, Aesthetic Gamer is worth paying attention to, as they've been consistent with their information. Aesthetic Gamer isn't always right, so this rumour should be taken with a grain of salt. But consumers should at least keep an eye out for any more signs that Resident Evil 8 on PS5 is in trouble during development. So my thoughts on this. It's very strange. It's almost like a PlayStation 3 debacle, where people found it hard to, if I'm remembering that right, developers found it hard to port the games over to PS3. I believe, more than sort of Xbox 360 and stuff like that. They struggled with it. If I remember correctly, it was a very specific hardware, and when they were making games for it, it was specific for that hardware. So like Killzone 2, Killzone 3, Uncharted, etc., etc. And some developers and studios, they didn't have, a hard time. It was alright for them, but there was a lot of them that said they had to fiddle about with things and the game's code, and do all these kind of crazy things to get it on the PS3, whereas with the Xbox 360 and PC releases, it was easy. It wasn't a struggle. And I feel like the PS5 is maybe following in that same, in that same lane. It's following the same route, taking the same steps, and people are maybe struggling with it a little bit. Don't know why, as I'm not a developer. I don't know the ins and outs of that sort of thing, but one thing I will say is it's a bit weird as to why Resident Evil 8 is struggling with the PS5. I haven't heard any other developers saying they're struggling with the tech, so that's one thing. This apparently isn't going to have like a lot of load times in the game, and it's going to be a lot more open, a lot more semi-open world than Resident Evil 7 was and the remakes were. So that's interesting. So it's going to be bigger, essentially, in terms of locations. And I think it's going to be like Resident Evil 4, where you just take on multiple enemies, RE4, RE5, etc., etc. But they're also bringing the horror back to the series once again, which is good, because the trailer was incredible. Like, the second trailer was incredible. I really liked it. But I could see there was issues from the first trailer because the frame rate was so bad. Like, so I was a bit like, well, why is the frame rate so choppy? And maybe that's the reason. Maybe it was running off PS5 tech hardware, which I think it was, and yeah, and it was struggling. So it's a bit daunting because I'm like, well, what do I get? Do I get the PS5 or do I get an Xbox? Because at the end of the day, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and if I'm going to pick a console, it's going to be the one that runs RE8 the best, you know. And is this going to impact the series' future releases in terms of them releasing it on the PS5 or then just going straight to PC and Xbox? That's one thing to take note of. So yeah, hopefully they get it sorted and it runs as well on the PS5 as it does on the PC or Xbox. Don't know what the issues are. They haven't obviously, spoken about it. Capcom haven't spoken about it. But let's hope they sort things out, because I would like to own a PS5. I'm not like a console war person. Like I'm not like a massive PlayStation fanboy that I've got to own every single PlayStation that comes out. I would happily jump ship to the Xbox, or get myself a high-end PC to play these games. But I do like PlayStation. I do prefer PlayStation over anything else, and I do tend to go with that console because I enjoy the lineups and things like that. The Uncharted games, Killzone, etc, etc. Anyway, let's hope RE8 is running smooth, when the PS5 comes out and the game's released. And let's hope they don't have to scale things back and cut things, because that would suck, because then essentially there's no point in getting a PS5, in my personal opinion, for me personally, even though I know they're going to be bringing out a great catalogue of games that aren't just Resident Evil. I usually buy consoles for Resident Evil. That's my favourite game series. That or Metal Gear. So, there you go. Anyway, I'm sure it will turn out fine, and the game will be running smooth. So anyway, let's go over to Game Rant. The new Resident Evil 8 trailer confirms two big things for fans. This woman here and this guy here, two different merchants, personally. That's what I think. Several days ago, Sony hosted another PS5 event, blah, blah, blah. The debut trailer gave fans a preview of the upcoming game's overall vibe. However, the first trailer was mostly vague. The second one, released in the latest PS5 event, is no better. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we've already covered that. We already got that covered. Yeah, here we go. There are zombies wielding weapons, but the rumours are still in the air. In a split second in the trailer, players should see what looks like zombies equipped with weapons. It is worth remembering that before Resident Evil 8's announcement, rumours circulated that the game will feature zombies wearing armour with swords. In the latest trailer, the enemies that look like zombies are holding weapons, but instead of swords, they wield farm tools. It doesn't appear that any of the zombies featured in the trailer are wearing armour, so whether or not this part of the rumour is real remains to be seen. Well, my personal opinion is things can get changed. Maybe that was a different point in the game, and they're tougher zombies, with armour, and these are just the first grunts, that you mow down. Of course, given that Resident Evil 8 is set in a remote village, these zombies might be that village's residents. However, they do not look like the Ganados from Resident Evil 4, so it's safe to assume that a different virus or parasite is behind the creation of the enemies of Evil 8. At the moment, while the latest trailer for Resident Evil 8 gives players some insights on its enemies, the game's primary story is still unknown. Moreover, Chris Redfield, Ethan Winters, and his wife Mia are once again featured in the preview, and it is still a mystery how Capcom will approach the continuation of their storyline in the upcoming installment. Is that it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, these might be the early enemies. Do you know what I mean? Later on, we get some enemies covered in armour. I think that these zombie type enemies with, farming equipment, etc., etc., I think some of them might turn into the werewolves. That's one of my theories, because that would spruce things up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? In terms of gameplay, you're shooting some of these, and then some of them just transform into harder enemies, the werewolves. But yeah, that's what I think is going on. That's what I think they're going to be doing. But cool, we're getting Ganado-style zombie enemies, which is cool. Ones that can transform into werewolves, and also a Mangini-style like Axeman enemy as well. Not the same one though. He's not the Axeman from RE5, but he does carry a similar, axe hammer combo, and he is big and hench, just like the Axeman from RE5. So yeah, right, I'm gonna do a little quick cut, and we're gonna get into the trailer. Let's get into the trailer. I gave an initial reaction on this trailer couple of days ago, week ago now. I can't remember when it got released. When was it? 16th. Yeah, so it was like a week ago. And there was a few things that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to go in depth and talk about the trailer a bit more. So here we have Ethan. I'm gonna full screen it quickly. There we go. Okay, so here we have Ethan waking up. This is after he gets knocked out by Chris and his team. 100% on that. We get a look at, this team that Chris is with. I'm gonna speculate, and I'm gonna go way off the fucking tracks here, yeah? But what if the team that Chris is working with is comprised of old Resident Evil heroes, protagonists that we know? That's interesting, right? I mean, they could put Carlos in the game in like a quick cameo. Do you know what I mean? Or Billy Cohen or someone like that. I mean, this could even be Leon Kennedy. They've said that other characters, apart from Chris, are coming back as well, making a few appearances. So it's very interesting. So imagine if this is like Leon Kennedy or something. That would be fucking cool. We get to see Chris here standing in the doorway once again. This house is not in the village. So yeah, Ethan gets knocked out and taken to the village. Are these guys Blue Umbrella? I doubt it. They would have the insignias on their, their uniforms. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's been leaks saying that Blue Umbrella are, back to their old ways in this game. So who's to know? But yeah, the speculation of those characters being, protagonists from previous games, it's quite off the mark. But what if it actually if it turns out to be true? Then we get a look at the new village. Like, the graphics look amazing. Like, definitely snow, ice, and cold, freezing temperatures is the aesthetic of this game. And here the frame rate actually is fine. That's the player, I think. That's to do with my internet connection. But it's fast if you have it on HD and like 1080p. What is it actually on this? 1080p. Okay. Well, we've seen this before. People say it's the witch. Just very detailed, very cool. Then we get a look at or at least I think, the new merchant, or one of the merchants. And it's this old woman here. And my theory is that she'll sell you maps, information, and just hints and tips and things like that for a price. So the fact we've got two merchants in this says that we'll be picking up, jewels and things like that, like we did in RE4 and 5. We have Ethan with his wedding ring on. Can't see any scars from his hand after it got chopped off. So yeah, he must have had some surgery done on it or something. Then we get this bit here, which is very reminiscent of RE7, going into the basement when Mia attacks you, which I think is cool. So I'm loving the fact that it's got more basement areas like RE7 did, because they were scary. They were some of the scariest parts. I don't know what's happening there. We get a look at this werewolf enemy, which I really, really like these dudes. Messed up, man. Like, that just looks terrifying. Whatever this virus is, I feel like it turns people into zombies, but a little bit like the Ganados, and then they transform into werewolves. I think there's going to be this whole timeline, you know, this evolution that the enemies go through within the game, which is very cool. You know, mutations and things on top of mutations. I think this is where the werewolves attack Ethan, or maybe not, because it doesn't look like it's in a house. So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You know, and he's driven by the memory of Mia and things like that. So he's dealing with the loss of her, which I think is very, very cool. I think they're going to make his character a lot more relatable and just a lot deeper. But I do think this is going to be the end of his story. Don't really want him to kill off Chris. Then we get this storybook kind of animation. This is Capcom trying something different, in my opinion. And obviously it's Mia reading a story to the baby, and then it's showing you visually. So I think it's cool. It's a strange design, artistic design choice for a series like this, but at the same time I think it's cool. It's something different. Don't know who this is. Just see his silhouette, but said that quite weird, silhouette. But he seems to have really elongated, like, I don't know what's going on with his hands here. Is it just the fact that the silhouette is elongated? Because that can happen. Yeah, probably. I think this is just Ethan. I think it's just his shadow. Very impressive though, very impressive. Get some more of the animations. We've seen this before. Some more of the animations. Then we get a really good look at the village here. It just looks massive. There's a lot going on. Huge church in the background. This synagogue, I'm guessing, or just what do you call those, where you go and pray and stuff. I forget what they're called. Not synagogue. It's well, anyway, it's a place where people can probably go and light candles and stuff and pray. And then this statue, which probably has some significance in the game. So yeah, very cool. Get a look at the fetus once again, which a lot of people said could be like the outline of the umbrella logo if you match it up. So it's quite interesting. And then we get a look at this lady here who we play as, apparently, in the game. A guy behind her who I have no idea who the fuck that is. This is being reported to be her father, maybe. And then we get this dude next to him who looks like he's been banged up a bit. And they're doing weird stuff in this bit, like a weird seance-y ritual type thing. One thing I will say is, oh no, this is the fetus. If you look at it here, there we go. Yeah, this is the head, the arm, the body. Okay, cool. So that's the interesting thing. It's like they're very religious and they fear this symbol and they fear what's going on in the village. So they're doing this like ritual and stuff. But maybe Ethan's like, well, I know what's going on. This can't be, you know, supernatural. Then we get a really good look at some of these enemies. So, I mean, like, if you look at their faces, they almost look like they're turning into werewolves and stuff. In fact, this guy here really does look like the guy earlier. But I think these are just the sort of Ganado zombie type enemies, and then they transform into the wolves. Or they're mid-transformation, maybe. The way they're moving isn't very zombie-like, is it? It's more Ganado-like. It's more like a werewolf. So yeah, who's this dude? We don't know. This is the woman that I thought was Mia in one of my videos. I got it completely wrong. She's holding a baby. I don't know whose baby it is, but this is her here, so it isn't Mia. Person here, don't know who that is. This guy's had a bad time of it. And the father, or supposedly this woman's father, to the left, is bleeding. So he's had a fight. Get a look at the Mangini style Axeman enemy, and he's got a similar. Oh, it's not even. It's like a hammer. It's pretty cool. Just go back a little bit. So yeah, they're doing this ritual stuff, and it makes me think that they're kind of far removed from technology in the outside world, so they don't know too much about bioterrorism, etc., etc. So this stuff that they're witnessing, or that's been going on for years and years, they liken it to something spiritual. They probably think that it's something otherworldly and like a curse. but obviously it isn't. We all know that it's to do with bioterrorism. If it isn't, I'm going to be surprised, because that is going to be a fucking switcheroo and a half when it comes to the Resident Evil series, and where Capcom's going and heading. But I think it's going to be bioterror, 100%. It always is. So yeah, we get a look at them doing this ritual, seance type of thing. Let's fast forward it a little bit. Mia, she's cooking dinner. This must be before she gets killed. Then we get a look at the castle. Really good look at the castle. And this is where the witches reside. So then we get the title card.
If it's just looking.
Yeah, and then we get a look at the second merchant, who I think sells guns and, you know, melee weapons, things like that. Ammo, all that stuff. So we got 2 merchants. Now there is a bit in the trailer that I've missed again. I've been trying to find the perfect point where we see it.
It's hard at work. But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence. The bushes empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother on, over vine, and into the forest deep.
Oh, okay. So, okay, this isn't, right, paused it perfectly. Yeah, okay, I got this wrong. So, in the previous video, when I watched the trailer, I thought this was like black goo coming from its face and stuff, a little bit like Resident Evil 7, you know, when people got infected by the mold, started spewing out the black goo and stuff. No, it's just blood from his face. You can see it here. Wait, here? Yeah, we can see it there. Let's go back. There. Yeah, it's just blood. But we're dealing with people here that don't know too much about bioterrorism, and like I said, they think this is supernatural in some way, or it's a curse, or it's otherworldly. So that's going to be interesting how Ethan has to deal with those sort of people. And I'm guessing that this character here you play as, this woman. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Gone too far back. Oh, whatever. The woman you play as, she's going to be, you know, thinking that all this stuff, like I said, is supernatural and otherworldly. Her, and then as you progress in the game, as you play as her, she's going to learn that it's not, you know, it's bioterrorism. These things are being created in a lab somewhere. There's probably a lab buried somewhere in this village or under this village. There has to be. There's always got to be a lab. Even in RE7, as small as it was, there was a lab. So yeah, and then in, you know, the DLC for RE7, there was a bigger lab that Lucas had. But she's gonna find out, you know, that this isn't actually otherworldly, supernatural, you know, ghostly, whatever. She's gonna find out that this has all been created by, you know, by men and scientists. And I think that's gonna be really, really cool. I like that aspect of it. So yeah. Do I want the team at the beginning, Chris's team here, to be characters from the series, like previous characters? Maybe see Billy Cohen reappear, Barry, Leon, you know, Jill come in. Yeah, that would be wicked. That would be very, very cool. I want to see that. But you know, I'm going out on a limb there. I'm stretching a little bit. That's just my own thoughts and me speculating. So that's about it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I've gone through, I think, as much as I can go through at this point in time regarding Resident Evil 8. Condensed it all into one video. The point is making like 3 videos for the different things. I thought I might as well make one. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Have you seen any leaks, any reports on this game that I haven't covered or found myself? If so, let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're a Resident Evil fan, big Resident Evil fan like I am, I'll be covering Resident Evil till I fucking die. So subscribe to the channel if that's a little bit of you and you like me as a content creator. Until next time, I'll be System Check 66, and I'm signing out of it. Peace.